Hey, welcome to the Kink'D AF podcast. We're your hosts, Mika,
Frankie,
Khira,
Alex,
and Krystle.
here to sort of detangle the kinks.
Wait, like combing?
no, we're not combing out our hair. We're deconditioning.
Unlearning the ideas that were imposed on us by others.
Sharing our stories as Black and brown women navigating the kinks of life, from personal growth, healing, and friendship.
Even the things too kinky to talk about in the office.
We're Kink'D AF.
Hey, it's your girl Frankie Benz, and welcome back.
Right on. Okay, so Frankie, we're doing a quick check-in.
Yeah, we're doing a quick check-in. Let's
Okay.
go ahead and go around the table, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Khira.
I'm doing good. I mean, we had our photo shoot today.
Yes.
and
Yes, we
It
did.
was hot.
It was.
But we looked hot. Amen.
That's right.
We look good. I can't wait for y'all to see that. Alex, how you feeling?
Man, yeah, I'm tired. We was out there in the heat with
You
the
know?
photo shoot, but we was booked and busy
And
this weekend because Frankie and I we went to go see our girl Alexis Miranda at the Marlon Wayne show. Hung out with them after. It's at 2:30, and we had to wake up at 9.
Quien te manda?
Yeah,
You have to wake up at 9.
we told y'all to don't be hot.
No, 7:45. We woke up at 7:45.
yeah. There we go. See,
No,
I can't even tell time anymore. And so this weekend was fun packed for sure.
So I'm jet lagged. So I've been in San Diego playing Navy for 2 weeks. So my alarm went off and I was in a panic. So I'm tired and I want to take these eyelashes off. And in the photo shoot, I felt like oil slick. So I'm good. Besides being jet lagged and feeling like oil slick. Like I felt like my face was melting off. Like send me back to San Diego where the high is 80 and not the low.
I wish.
You know, I grew up in Texas my whole life, and it surprises me every
Cali.
summer. Every summer, I act like it's a shock. Like I haven't experienced this for 34 years.
Yeah, I can relate.
But you from New York?
I know,
No,
but
but
hot
there's
is
no
hot. I
AC.
don't care where you are.
Nah, this Texas heat is something else. It's like closer to the devil's
You
tank
need to
or
go to
something.
New York in August in Manhattan where all the tiny restaurants don't have AC.
Okay,
I would never
you
do
had
that.
me. I was like, I've been there, but not the tiny restaurants.
Also,
I was in
it's,
Bed-Stuy.
it's the commute to the restaurant.
Ooh.
Because if you end up taking a bus or a train, it's likely that you may not have air conditioning.
That's
I know.
ghetto.
At all.
It's
I
also
don't-
gross.
Don't invite me to your, first of all, don't invite me if you don't have air condition. That the room I was staying at in San Diego didn't have air condition. We had a meeting. I was like, who the fuck decided this?
Where were you?
In San Diego.
the
On
Ramada
base.
Inn?
On base.
No,
oh,
on
shit.
base. You know, barrack shit.
You gonna get what you gonna get.
Right. Like, bitch, you lucky you got a bed.
And that's why I
Fuck
say
all
it's
that.
okay.
Right.
So
to
Mika,
violate
how
your
you
country.
feeling?
Not joking.
You know, this has been a week. It's been a very busy week. And I feel really good today. I can definitely agree with Krystle that I did feel really slippery and slidey out there in the heat when we were taking our pictures.
slippery.
I
I
appreciate
didn't
my
say
people for dabbing my upper lip every time I
Yo,
had the
she
little
slapped the
drops
shit
go
out of you with that napkin. Let's call it what it
Listen,
is.
Krystle
Y'all wasn't
comes
doing it.
over
Y'all
and
wasn't
she's
doing it.
like, I'm gonna dab you. No, she dapped me. She dapped me in my face. And ouch, but also thank you for looking out.
The water was gone, right?
It was.
Okay,
but it came
then.
right back because I was hot as fuck.
You was sweating.
I was sweating. But I feel really good about our photo shoot and our look today. I think we all looked really good. I think we complimented each other well. So I'm
did.
excited about that.
Like a little pastele.
It makes me feel like, it just reminds me that we're doing a thing, and I'm excited about the thing that we're doing. And I don't want to wash this face off yet because I feel like I haven't had enough people see it.
That's right.
Okay. It's Father's Day, and it's cool because this week, you know, we did a lot of things, Alex, last night, and nothing inappropriate. But I got to see my dad and surprise him. You know, he called me, crazy. But it was great to see him for his 71st birthday, and today's Father's Day, so I feel good. I feel like I got that done. Shout out to Papi.
Shout out to your papi.
He's like, you crazy kid.
Yeah,
In the video.
get at the loca. But yeah, it was fun. It was mad fun. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's everybody's check-in.
Exciting. So I'm super excited about our third episode. This time we get to talk about something really interesting called soaking. The term, let me give you a little background. So the term came from something that I listened to or maybe something that I watched. I can't trace it back because I don't know if I said this before, but I love documentaries. And so there was a documentary or a podcast that talked about a particular cultural group that incorporate a practice called soaking. And in this practice, it's a sexual practice, kind of, in which the man inserts his penis into the woman's vagina, or the young woman, into her vagina, and nothing happens. There's no thrusting, nothing is happening. And I just think about how sad that might be for the woman who's laying up under homeboy who has his penis in her vagina and is not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, clearly you're gratified that it's sitting here in this wonderful environment. But as far as I'm concerned, nothing is happening. So am I soaking here waiting to finish? Come? Nut? Something? What the fuck am I still doing here? And it made me think of like situations in my life where I just sit and I soak. I sit and I soak on, I don't know, maybe a thought process, maybe a relationship that's been over for a long time, and I'll sit in that situation waiting for it to change. And in a minute, I'll share more about what I am dealing with when it comes to soaking. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts have been, you all, because I know this is something that we've been talking about. So is anybody ready to share? What have you been soaking in that you feel?
Can I react?
Yes, please.
That's
please
fucking
react.
wow.
Well, right? Is it not?
Ugh.
Then why are we doing it? Seriously, like,
Why are we?
if you're just gonna stick my penis in vagina, we're just gonna stare at each other. We might
Well,
just...
the Lord said so.
I don't know if
like,
the Lord said that.
He don't.
No,
he didn't say- What book
I don't
is that?
agree that, but they're using.
What book is that?
What they're looking
The Book
for,
of Mormon, right?
So it's the Book of Mormon.
So they got their
It's
own
the
Bible?
Mormons.
Wait a minute, screw
But
you.
hold
Time out.
on. Do you remember how when we were growing up, they used to say Catholic schoolgirls used to take it in the ass because
That
they
didn't
didn't want to
count.
lose their virginity?
I didn't hear that.
I
I went to
did.
regular
I
ass
have heard
public
Yes,
that.
school.
I have heard that.
So this is the same. This is kind of the same concept in the
Like it
sense
don't
that
count.
they don't have sex, so they're not sinning because they're not actually having intercourse. So it's like a loophole, but it's just
A literal loop. Alex's face is hilarious.
I think
Right.
at the beginning of me having sex, I was soaking, but without knowing it.
Ooh.
What?
You
didn't move?
That's sad.
Yeah, I know. My bad. I didn't
know,
mean to take it there.
sometimes
no,
they're too
definitely
small
take
and
it
it's
there. What do
just-
you mean?
Like
no
I just,
dick shaming. We're not
yeah,
dick
I just
shaming.
like I didn't like pre-watch porn or something, and I wasn't moving.
Oh, you didn't know you
Yeah, you
supposed
didn't
to
know
move?
what to do. You're
Yeah.
Oh, men call that being a fish.
Oh,
Starfish.
fucked up.
Starfish.
Yeah.
Because you laying there like a starfish.
Yeah, and
It depends on the
you ain't doing
guy
that.
because he might also like just worship you as a pillow princess. I'm just saying.
I'm not a pillow princess.
I'm gonna go with Mika's thought on that. That was very lovely. I was worshipped as a pillow princess and not viewed as a starfish.
I think that's the bright side to look at.
Right. The silver lining and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so who has a situation where they just laid there and took the dick?
When you put it like that, I don't know.
Starfish.
I'll go ahead and start with mine. I think I touched about this in episode 1 or 2. I don't remember. I've slept since then and played Navy since then. But we're talking about staying in a situation too long, and my situation is staying in teaching too long. I used to think it was me, like I was like, or the school I'm in, because you know you hear that all the time. It's all about the principals. It's all about whatever the case may be. And I stayed in teaching, and since 2020, I've been in 3 schools, hoping it would change, and it never changed. It just kept getting worse. It just kept getting worse, and I just kept getting mistreated, you know. And I'm like, this is not it.
Wait,
And
what does mistreatment look like?
it's a lot of different things. Like principals will gaslight you, you know, make it feel.
That is
you
so
feel me? They'll gaslight you like you're not the subject matter expert, excuse me, or like I don't. Almost half a master's degree in teaching because I'm still getting my master's in teaching because I'm almost done. But stuff like that, or like I don't know what I'm doing with my kids. Like especially this year, like my principal, she tries to like tell me what to do with my kids, and I'm like, out of me and you, who's the ESL certified? It's me. Boop. It's me. None of you know how to interact with children whose language is not English. it's me. I've been teaching children who are English language learners for 7 years, not you. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, or just, expecting me to do something outside of our, what is it called? Working hours, clock time. What's the
Working hours.
working hours? I don't do that. So like, I remember my first year teaching, my ass would be at that schoolhouse at 8:00 at night. Not no more. I don't take, the only bag I bring into the schoolhouse is my lunch bag. Okay. I don't take work home because it's boundaries. And then people, they use you because I'm single, right? Like I don't have a family. So, she's single. She could just.
That
all
happens in
that.
every
Yeah.
office.
Yeah, I know it does. It happens in the Navy too.
Listen,
so like,
my
happens
next
in so
job,
many
I got
areas.
5 kids and a husband at home.
look,
Right? Yeah. All of a sudden, you got a family.
Penny the dog is an actual child baby. I have a whole 11-year-old.
Yo,
so,
I be mad tight with my coworkers with the dog shit. I'm like, yo, really? You gonna leave me with this?
Right.
I gotta walk them. No, I'm not shame, but shit.
But anywho, getting back on topic, like I knew I wasn't happy, but then I kept getting also gaslighted when I was like, I don't think I should be doing this anymore. And people were like, what about the kids?
That's
I
what
hate
made
when
you
they
say
say
that.
And that's what made me stay, because I'm like, my babies, because I do love my kids. Don't get it twisted. I can't wait to see my babies on Tuesday. I've been away from them for 2 weeks. I can't wait to see them on Tuesday. But then I also, where's the summer? But it was like, dang, because I've always taught in black and brown schools. So I'm like, my babies need me. These kids need me. They need me. But I need myself.
I had to get over that savior
That
complex.
part right there.
That savior, what is it called?
Savior
You know, they got a white
Savior
savior complex.
complex.
Is there a black savior complex?
No, there is
Yeah,
a
there
savior
is.
complex.
So
It's
I'm
the
not,
teacher savior complex.
Yeah.
it
But
is.
it's also the strong black woman. It's also you just knowing that
and
you
I said
can't
I didn't want to do
put
that
your
no more,
bags
right?
down. You can't you can't be soft or let them know like I need some help. I'm drowning over here. They expect you to always just have it together. Like
And so
And when you operate at a expeditious pace, they expect it all the time.
yeah.
it's performing.
And then
Teaching
remind
is
you
performing.
too, like you've been through this. I'm trying to stop going through this.
Yes.
Right. Right.
I'm tired. Like I'm tired.
definitely
Like
gaslighting.
I told somebody I would literally get home and just sit there. I would sit there because I'm exhausted. So that like now my Navy work's falling behind because I couldn't check an email, or Penny's not being walked because I'm literally just sitting there on the couch, and then it's 1:00 in the morning and I got to do this shit over again. I'm like, I refuse to think this is life. You know what I'm saying? So
And then
I
they
was-
don't pay you enough for all that.
don't. And then the other school I was at, I liked it, liked the culture, but what am I supposed to do with $42,000 a year?
I don't even know.
I don't know. I'll tell the principal all the time, I'm gonna be straight with you. I don't have a husband. It's me. I pay the mortgage by myself. And you see that cross-eyed? I got to pay for it. The dog, she like fancy organic dog treats. So no, you know what I'm saying? So I had to, as an educator, and a lot of my educator friends, we have this problem of like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any talent. And I did that too. I was like, what do? I don't have any talent. The only thing I know how to do is be in the Navy and be a teacher. I don't have a talent. But that's bullshit.
Yeah, I tried to pitch this initiative to identify transferable skill sets.
Right.
And teachers were the greatest guinea pig into cybersecurity.
Right.
They're always studying. They know how to, not only that, train others. So if we need
Project management
All
all
of
day,
it.
every day.
every day.
Sometimes I'm an IT, when Google doesn't work or something like that, No, I can do anything, I've been in the military for 16 years and I've done so many things, been a teacher, taught different subjects. And I feel like as a black woman, I can adapt, So now I'm a whole entrepreneur
Yes.
yeah.
doing something totally different. And I think my impact on the world will be different because I was like, I want to change the world. But I'm just going to do it in a different way.
I think, you know what, especially in educators, that was the pill we swallowed. Like, I want to change the world. I loved running Black
do.
Girls Code. Like, you know what? I'll chime in. This is my.
I'm done. Like, yeah, that's it. So I have 4 more days left of school and then I'm done.
With your
And
teaching career?
With my teacher, you know what? I don't want to say that because
You'll
I don't
always
know.
be a teacher.
I'll always be a teacher. And then another doula told me like, you'll be teaching just in a different capacity.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at Disney World, I was interacting with the characters, and she's like, "Oh, you're done teaching, but life is a classroom. You're never done teaching."
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to say I'm done because you never know, and I'm still getting a master's in education.
Wait, a character said that to you?
Yeah, because
Which
I had
character?
when I went. What's the ladies from?
Which character?
Which character? What's the ladies from
Was it
Wakanda?
Dory? Does she remember?
No,
Dora Milaje?
no. What's the ladies from Wakanda? Wakanda Forever. What's the
the
Warriors?
The Dora Milaje.
Oh, I didn't know their names. Yes. So I had a shirt on when I went to Disneyland, and it said, "I'm done teaching. I'm going to Disney." And she was like, "What do you?" She started talking to me. I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't know this was Q&A. Wait a minute, skirt." I wasn't ready. I just want to take a picture.
I was
My
like,
ex. Skirt. I didn't. Whoa, I didn't know we was gonna have a conversation.
I didn't know they had them bitches walking around.
They did. I was gonna call them bitches too, but I didn't want to.
Bald
But
head and
when
shit.
she
yeah, they
said
were bald
character,
too.
I thought it was gonna be Pluto. I was like,
I
Pluto
didn't see
said that?
him, and I'm mad because they cut me off when anyway. I was trying to, whatever. So they were like, "Oh, what did you teach or something?" And then I was like, "Something." She's like, "Oh, you just taught me something. You're never done teaching."
Come on,
And
message.
Come on, message.
That's right.
Come on,
Message.
Yeah, I think kind of sort of to not kind of tie back into what you said, but my soaking situation, and I think me and Mika are kind of similar in this. It's been around mental health, and for me, it was finally seeing a therapist for the first time. So the past, I think I'm going into my 4th session with her. By the time this podcast comes out, by the time this episode comes out, and I've loved it. It's been somebody that I could talk to because I always thought I'm very self-aware of my feelings, and I'm very self-aware of my triggers and the things that I am feeling and going through. So I was like, I don't gotta pay for a therapist right now. I go talk to my homegirl
real quick.
No, it's literally like that TikTok where it's just like, I don't need a therapist. I got my best friend, and it's like, no, you and your best friend need a therapist.
Right.
But actually, about 3 of my friends are clinical like therapists. So at the same time, I'm like, hey girl, what you doing?
And they like, I'm not on the
because I know
clock.
you listening. Hey Ashley, I got a question. Help me through these feelings real quick. But no, it is really like it has been a thing for me where I have just truly like, okay, I can't handle. I'm tired of being a strong Black woman. I'm tired of putting all of the things on my shoulder. And like my mother's, again, I've told y'all my mother's from the island, Jamaicans. Therapy. What you need that for?
You better pray.
Yes.
You better pray. You better.
It's not even that you better pray, but like even when I told my mother that I was going to therapy, because I didn't tell her prior to. I think I told her after I was like two therapist sessions in, and she was like, "Did I do anything to force you to go to therapy?" Like my mother is literally the sweetest person in the world, and I was like, "No, it was something that I needed to do for me, and I needed to, And then I think part of that was because I didn't want like my parents or anybody to feel, well, not my daddy. He's the reason I need to go. Like, run over there to the therapist. But no, my mother's literally like the sweetest person in the world, and I didn't want her to feel like, oh, she hasn't been enough,
or she needs therapy because I did something.
Yeah,
wrong
or
in childhood.
she needs therapy because I did something. Where it's not really that. It's just I need therapy because I need therapy. Because of the way that my life has been set up and the things that I need to talk about that I've been trying to like handle on my own or thought that I could handle on my own or was self-aware of. And I was like, actually, these patterns in my life, like I see the patterns. Now I will say I can go to therapy and they'll be like, okay, sis, look, this is the pattern that I'm seeing. I'm seeing this, and this. And she was like, yeah, you are very self-aware. Now what do we do to change it? And I was like, that's why I'm here. That's why I came to you because I don't know how to change it. What are the exercises that we need to do in order for me to get to where I need to be a healthier, and I don't think I'm an unhealthy version of myself, but to be a healthier version of myself.
And to recognize.
And to recognize, those things. Because I always say, even in relationships, I'm not the person that's going to argue with you. I'm the person that's going to sit down and talk. Like, what are we arguing for? Arguing gets us nowhere. It just makes everybody mad.
Let's find a solution.
Let's find a solution. And even like, I think at some points in times I'll have panic attacks. The one time, when we get to soul ties, but the one time that I've ever had panic attacks and anxiety is when I was sleeping with somebody that had panic attacks and anxiety. Like that's the only time that has ever happened to me in my life.
Was he my ex?
How many exes you got?
Shut up, Krystle.
I'm just saying because you said that.
I'm telling you.
But you know what's crazy though? Have you ever had a panic attack in your sleep?
No.
That's when I knew it was messed up. I had one in my sleep.
Was it when you couldn't wake yourself up?
No. So I'm sorry. So I was asleep, and in the story, I was in Japan with a friend, and she lived in a high-rise in Japan. And there was an earthquake. There's a lot of earthquakes there. And so in the earthquake, the building fell on my back. And I just remember, like, struggling to breathe and, like, looking for my friend. But I woke up feeling super heavy, and I couldn't breathe. I was having a panic attack because I was panicking in a dream.
Oh,
and
I
then
have done that.
Yeah, and it just
it's only happened like
transferred.
twice, though.
Yeah, that happened once, and I went to the school counselor. I needed an immediate session. And so she was like, that sounds like you just had a panic attack in your sleep. And I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Why am I panicking? I'm asleep.
Right.
And she was just like, that's just something that's in your subconscious.
But
Still
yeah,
stressed.
so like, yeah, the only time I've ever had panic attacks or anxiety is when I was with that certain person. And even then I would be like, okay, let's talk this out. I'm not here trying to argue. I'm not trying to fight. Like, but even now, if I feel myself like getting anxiety or a panic attack, I'm like, nothing's going to change if we start crying or if we get an anxiety attack. So what are we going to, let's just Kyra, shut that down.
For some people, it's too late.
Yeah.
You already have one. Like, that's for me.
Yeah.
Like, I had a panic attack, and I was just writing on the board, talking to my kids. And that was the first one I had. I was just like, and they were like, you okay? And I was like, no.
Yeah, mine happened at work.
Yeah, I wasn't panicking about anything. The kids weren't acting crazy or nothing. They were sitting down, they were writing their notes, and I was writing on the board, and I had a panic attack.
Yeah.
So for some,
It'll catch
I don't
up.
want to
For
say
me,
that like
it'll
it's
catch
not
you.
like, oh, calm your ass down.
For me though, that's how I deal. Like if an anxiety or something, if I'm feeling over anxious about something, I'm like, all right, sis, how we gonna get through this? Because right now you crying and hyperventilating ain't gonna do shit. So what do we need to do to get past this point? And I'll like literally stop them as they come. So I might suffer from panic attacks and anxiety. I don't know, but I don't let them happen.
That's so I don't know if it is for anxiety, but I know that maybe it is for anxiety because I know that it was a tip that my therapist had given me was like thought stopping, like tracing your thoughts and thought stopping.
The root of
it. Because it's like I could go down a rabbit hole from something very small.
When I was in second grade.
It could go, no, like it could, I mean, it's crazy. Like prime example, at work, we have these very heavy glass doors. Every time I pull the door, I notice how heavy it is. I've been there for months now. Every time I pull the door, I make a note of how heavy it is. And then my fingers automatically close. My hand closes like this because I remembered when I was in the cafeteria in like second grade and my finger got caught in between the door and the frame and it closed on my finger. And I never forgot that pain. But what I do remember also is that I didn't cry because I felt like I shouldn't cry. I felt stupid. Like I looked stupid because I had pain on my face. So I put my hand down on the side, but I could feel it throbbing. And I was really, really upset and hurting. And then finally I was like, I think I got to say something. But, the teacher kind of looked at me and she's like, the fuck is going on with this bitch? She's always all right. And I was like, so they came over. Of course, they called, my emergency contact, which is my uncle. He came and got me. That nail came off, 2 fingers. It was really bad. It was really bad. So I always think about that when I open the door, but it doesn't stop there. If I go back to that thought about what happened at the cafeteria, then I might start thinking about how my uncle had to pick me up. And then maybe I'll say, I wish my dad could have picked me up. But my dad couldn't pick me up then because my dad was in jail. And I'm sad because he's not here. But I have a relationship with now. But sometimes I have a hard time connecting with him because we spent so many years apart. And I got to do better. And then I felt guilt. And then I got to do better. So let me call him now. And then I call him and he has something going on that maybe he needs to talk through. And I'm not able to say what I was thinking because I really want to be there for him. So I let him.
So do you transport yourself and your emotions into that space and you're in present day but not being present?
It could just be in it past space.
So
what she's saying. It's past space that reminds her of the current state.
I'm here and my mind has gone
left.
It has literally spiraled like down to the smallest iota of the iota.
It's like, Frankie's late for lunch, and I remember my mom left me at school.
Not only that,
Frankie's
late. No,
yeah. I'm just saying, like, that's where you go with it. Like
having to go get the notebook today. I left my notebook, so people for context. I had a notebook that has some notes that I needed for today, and I left the notebook at home, and it was bothering me to say, I think I need to go home and get the notebook. And it was like, fuck, I don't want to fuck it up because, you know, I don't want to be late and I don't want to make this person anxious, or I don't want to throw everything off because we already have like a flow of the day going, and, you know, things have been going. And so, and I already didn't take my anxiety pill. So I'm already wiry. So I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. The notebook. Go get the notebook. And then you called me just to see if I was okay. And I'm like, fuck, they're waiting for me. I got to hurry up and get there. But I also got another call from a family member about some other shit that really threw my shit off. And having to just get myself back together is, sometimes that's difficult. So that's where I soak. I soak in an area of where you said how you can stop, Khira. Sometimes I don't notice that it's happening. And I turn around and I look around me and I'm like, oh shit, I must have been in an episode for a minute.
It's wild when you look back and you're like, shit, I was in an episode.
Yeah, because
for a few weeks.
My space may not look the same. You know, I may be indulging in my vices a lot more frequently. I'm not available emotionally for almost anybody, hardly for myself, because I'm not aware of what I'm feeling. And I tell myself, I know there's something there. I know that I should feel sad about this situation. That's sad. I know it's there somewhere, but I can't feel it. And what's fucked up is that when I do feel it, a lot of times it's too late. I can't catch myself before I break. So sometimes that's a phone call to this motherfucker, to Frankie. Like, and she's like, breathe. I'm in the car like, I don't know what happened. I was okay.
I want to go home.
I want to go home. Yeah, like that night with the Q dogs.
Yeah.
I was instantaneously triggered by that room.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Full of men with their
you.
adrenaline on fucking 100. There were some young girls who were there stripping. They were like maybe, was it 2 or 3? They looked like they were in their very, very, very early 20s. And I know that all these men looked old because we were like
a bunch of TD Jakes and IT managers.
Stop. They looked old.
Like I was afraid. How many years you've been alive?
They played that damn song Atomic Dog so many times. I thought one of them was gonna fall out. I was like, oh God, somebody help him. And so, but yeah, we went in that room.
But I don't want you to be too hard on yourself. I remember that night and you're like, I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. I think you need to look at it. Maybe you were a light to us because me and Frankie, we kind of don't stop.
They had them plates. They didn't give a
we
shit.
had mad sausages on the plate.
Like actual
there
plates.
Were a lot of
them green beans was good as shit.
Y'all had sausages on the plate. It was too much sausage for me. It was
too
much
fast.
sausage. So,
but I recognized it because
Krystle,
Mika grabbed my arm and I looked at her and I said, and I was like, yo, Frankie, put me some green beans on that plate though.
We walking in. Krystle's like walking in front of me. I'm fine. Until all of a sudden it kind of sits in and I know what I'm feeling and I'm like, I want to go home. And she was like, okay. And she was holding my hand, and I was like, no, for real, I want to go home now. But I didn't have to keep saying it to her because the way she responded, and I feel like that was a teacher in you. I told Frankie that. I was like, she responded so well. She got me out of there quickly. She didn't ask me any questions. She was like, let's go. She grabbed my hand. She got me through all them queues. We bypassed the food. I think we saw you grabbing food.
No, it's like, Frankie, green beans, we're going to be outside. We're going to be outside getting green beans.
And then I see Frankie outside eating. She's in the hallway eating. And
Y'all
I'm like, this motherfucker. I was like,
long.
Frankie, I want to go home. She's like, okay. I love that. I love that. I love that. It's important to be in spaces where people make you feel safe and people see you. And people.
Because so many times you're stuck in an uncomfortable situation, especially in a social setting, and you're like, I'm ready to go.
Listen, girlfriends need to not shame their girlfriends if they want to leave early.
Yeah.
Also, if the friend really wants to stay, there's Lyft and Uber. You know what I'm saying? But they shouldn't
why I always drive
shame
my car.
them. Like, and I don't do girlfriend code. Oh, we came together, we leave together. I don't do that.
I wish I would have known because we did say that night.
That was a different situation. Some situations call for that.
A bitch tried me in Dubai, and I said, listen, you want to fuck this nigga till 4 a.m. I don't.
Oh, I remember the story.
I'm going home where I paid for a room. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're grown. Oh, girl code. I am 31. Bye.
Frankie's like, I'm
sorry.
Like, I ain't no girl. I'm a grown ass woman.
Right.
And I'm out of here.
And I paid for a place.
Yeah. I think that's the exception to the rule. I feel that night with us. I'm there like, I'm gonna go. I think that was a sign from God because I'm very blessed and very fortunate. I think God knows how I am. You know, I'm not gonna hear him the first time, but I'm probably gonna hear it from the person next to me. And so that was you.
You've been consistent in that shit. Like, she's been saying that since that night. Like, I believe you. Like,
Yeah. When
You don't hear God directly, you hear him through someone else?
Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
through someone else that I love, like, you know, y'all, my sister. And then when they say it twice, I'm like, "Ooh, that's not you anymore, huh?" That's,
Oh, it's you. I get it.
oh, I get it. It's you, God. Like, you really needed me to hear that. So, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I won't ever shame my girlfriends if they're like, "Oh, I want to leave early. I'm not feeling right." I'm like, I'm like, because I fear if I have to hear it the second time in that situation, I'm like, "Ooh, we close. It's a close call or something."
yeah.
All right, so who's next?
My situation, yeah, I feel honestly that I'm still currently in it. And when we brought up this topic, I almost cringed because I feel like my therapist has told me that I learned the only way the universe and God has taught me my lessons is through relationships. And the current situation I am now has been on and off for 13 years. And I've loved others in between, and so has he. Not as much as I had probably. I mean, but at the end of the day, I really don't know. And it's my current relationship that I'm in, and on and off for 13 years. But I will admit that the first like 9, pushing decade, like that was raw Alex, like with no therapy, no. Even my sister couldn't even rein me in. I was like always running off, a very emotional responder. And that was not the best of me, like at all. And even with my as great as my dad is, I would still feel like he didn't do enough. And that wasn't true. Like but that, cause I was not holding myself accountable. And it was just, and especially because he has succeeded. He's in the military, high ranking. He has his master's. Like, he's always succeeded. And it wasn't until I found comedy, found my shit, where I'm like, oh, this is my shit. And I started getting more comfortable with my skin and who I'm with. And then when I was 30, I was like, cool, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. Let's have this adult relationship. He was not. And he did not make that clear at first. And so we tried for a couple months. Boom, we're not together. I love love. I'm gonna find it too. So I went on
Let it find juices.
And I went into another relationship. It didn't work out, but it was what I needed. I learned a lot from it. And then coming out of it, we reunite again. And here and I truly feel like I'm Alex 2.0. Like the Alex I am now, I love it. I trust.
We love it. Sure, I love it.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you. And I just feel like it's Alex 2.0. I'm like, he truly has. I'm the best right now, and I feel like he's gone to therapy as well. That's helped a lot. And now we're adults. We're not kids. You know what I'm saying? In our early 20s, we're not kids anymore. But how do I take it slow in a relationship that I've been in for so long, but it wasn't healthy at first? And now we're the healthiest we have ever been. We're both like 2.0 versions of ourselves. And it's not like, he's not a fuckboy. And he's always done him like with his career. He's always it's his job. Like he gives his job everything he has, just where people around him, we kind of get the scraps. And so I'm like, is that going to be enough for me? But I'm complaining about a hardworking man, but I have needs too. And we're in a long distance relationship. How long are we doing this? Because I know what I want, and I don't, and I'm soaking in it. I'm like, I truly don't know. So I'm in a part where I'm soaking in it, but I won't dry off yet because I still don't know.
And that's okay.
You still don't know which part.
Where this kills me, the saying, go with the flow.
You said it in the car earlier.
I hate that. Yeah, because I will force it on myself. I'd be like,
See?
Alex.
Thanks, Frankie. Yeah.
I'd be like, Alex, let's go with the flow. I say it and the thing is, I even creep myself out when I say it. Like, that makes it more scarier. But, you know, obviously, if I'm like, oh, keep an open mind. Everyone just tells me, go with the flow.
It was the eye twitch.
The
that
eye-
y'all did. It was
That
the eye
shit,
twitch
she
y'all
almost had a
did.
brain aneurysm on the spot.
You know what?
And-
I get you on that as a fellow Scorpio.
Yeah, and I'm just
I
there
need a
like,
plan.
yeah, like how? How do I go with the flow in this relationship? I know he loves me. I love him. What now? Well, communication. Be open. Be patient. Go with the flow. Thank you. You can't take my deductible this week because there's not a plan that it's people are like, you can't plan out your life. I'm not saying to plan out my life,
Yeah.
but I need something else.
Yeah, you want to know what direction this is going in. Like, what are we
Yes.
doing? And are you,
don't want to
where I
set your-
am in
so-
terms
and then
of like
you can't
where
make
this is
it
going?
like, and then I see like myself making ultimatums. I'm like,
No, don't.
I so feel her on this. 'cause
I
it's
know.
Like, tell me something because I don't want to go to the flow until I'm 40 and then I'm just flowing.
No, you set expectations, but you don't tie yourself to the outcome. You put it on the table. If he can't meet it or any other person can't meet it, it doesn't even have to be a significant other. If they cannot meet it, you let them go. You do not tie yourself to the outcome. You're tying yourself to this is going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I'm
right.
going to get it. And then we're like, you're not meeting my expectation. And you start stressing your fucking self out. And it's just, and listen,
You don't have to talk to me like this, by the way.
my bad.
I have a therapist. No. You know,
It's wild.
but
It's
I
wild.
get, yeah, because I
and I
feel
hear the
Alex.
simplicity of it. Of course,
It sounds good.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
It
yeah.
sounds good.
I definitely hear the simplicity of it. Where I wish I can follow that, and I am trying, but I'm just not doing it right now.
What is the flow though? Because like people tell you that and that's so vague. What is the flow? Go
What
with
is it?
the
What
flow
is the flow?
of me not knowing where things are going. I don't think that's fluid.
That makes
I
me have
think
anxiety.
a flow would be a conversation that's fluid about what do we ultimately want and how do we get there. And a lot of times it's very difficult for people to have those conversations. But if y'all have, y'all not new to each other. So it ain't, at this point, I feel like it ain't no scaring him away. He's not even here.
And if you scare him
Like,
away,
you-
that ain't the
you
person
guys-
for you.
Yeah, that, but also he's not even like physically here. And I think when you think about a long distance relationship, everybody needs to be sensitive to the fact that y'all not able to just get together when shit
And when
is
we
not
do get
going
together,
well.
like it's always when we do get together, it's always our honeymoon phase.
Exactly.
So it's not,
and you're starting over every time. It's almost like starting over every time. And it's like if we were dating somebody who wasn't long distance, how would we measure this? Like if let's say if you're saying I don't know, right? I'm not saying this is my golden rule, but if it's somebody's golden rule, no sex until we've had 6 dates. Then what the fuck does that mean for people who are across the world from each other?
You
So
ain't
you're
gonna
gonna
know
wait
the
till you
person.
visit each other 6 times? Because from what I understand, most people when they do their thing, they do their thing. They don't wait for 6 visits before they do their thing. You know what I mean? And it's also, and of course, you also want to know like, what am I working with here? Is it worth me doing this?
and he's
long
mentioned,
term?
and we mentioned like, okay, so when, he's currently deployed right now. So when he comes back, like, are we gonna have conversations about us moving in? He's like, yes. When we get together and we'll just see how it goes. See how what goes. Am I like this is an assessment after? Like he's
Yeah,
like,
I'm about to say after 9 years we shouldn't be assessing anything.
No.
anymore.
13.
but
I mean, you saying it's
and at the same time, like I'm not placing that on him. That he had he's seen not the best of me, and so
But are you, that part, I did hear that early. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do this. But may I ask a question?
yeah.
Have you given yourself grace from the time you were that period? Like, are you extending it because you're saying I wasn't my best at that time? Now I'm my best. Hey, look at me.
Are you like starting over the relationship because you feel like you're at your best now? Is that what you're asking in a way, Frankie?
Yeah.
Oh, in a way, no, because I'd be like, because I pull out that 13-year card, like, we've been on and off for 13 years. So I don't feel like, hey, look at me, but I just feel I'm more mature to have the relationship I desire than before claiming this is the relationship I desire, and I had no maturity, no communication skills, things of that.
I feel like there should have been maybe some progression. Have you feel like there's been some progression?
No, there absolutely has, and so that's what has.
That's why you're still soaking,
Yes.
because there has been progression,
But
but not as far as you want the progression to go.
Yes.
And that's when
it
you
sounds
let
like
go.
what you're not soaking in the relationship because you want the relationship. It sounds like you're soaking in this. Am I okay with this relationship and the pace that it's taking right now? How do I become okay with it? Am I okay with going with the flow? I'm soaking in this part, in this I'm soaking in this in between, go with the flow and I need answers, but it's not. I'm not gonna be with him. So it doesn't sound like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't sound like this is a situation that you're thinking about exiting. So I don't know if that's the area that you're soaking.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're soaking on staying with? Is that where
No,
the thoughts?
it was that part.
It was
the
the
flow.
First part. It's the flow because that's where you have. That's where you have the most. That's where there's the most contention. It's like I'm not okay. I'm not okay with
There's
this.
no
Go
peace
with the flow because I'm
in
not
the
this kind of
decision.
person. So it's either a growth point for you and you're struggling with it because you have to grow, you have to stretch, or you're not the kind of person that goes with the flow and this ain't for you.
I feel
But
like
she won't let go of the relationship.
I feel like the next step is to talk to your therapist and
Yeah.
figure out like how to have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
what's the best way to bring that? I mean, but
you said that, yeah.
Prep work with the therapist is best.
yeah, prep with the therapist
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
go in for the conversation.
You know.
Because
And
if we go in on emotions,
Girl.
Exactly.
Right.
and
Thank
we
you.
need to not go in on emotion.
And your therapist is going to tell you options A through C. This might happen. These different things
you
might
prepared?
happen. Are you prepared? Right. And at least you could express your emotion with her or him, and let that shit out there. Cause don't.
Do you feel that because you made a comment a little while ago about the therapist where you was like, do you feel like that you have a good connection or?
Yeah, going into therapy this following week, I was going to mention to her, hey, how do I have patience in a relationship? You know, what does that look like for someone like me? Mm-hmm. Like, what thoughts do I need to have?
Yeah, that's a great question. What does that look like?
So 15 years IT and then 8 years cybersecurity, letting go of that identity. And as a Capricorn, career is your identity. And when I made the decision to leave, there's an NDA signed, so I can't say anything. But when I made the decision to go ahead and leave, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and build my own cybersecurity company. Yeah. And then while I'm in the midst of building this team and meeting with these partners and prepping for conversations of investment opportunities, I said, my board of director contacted me and he said, I'm in it for the long haul. Are you? And I said, I don't even want to do this till I get to do what I really want to do.
And what do you really want to do?
Girl, I hung up the phone. I said, that was the stupidest shit I ever fucking said. Why don't I do what I want to do now? And it was comedy. But I said, what about the kids? So the company I was building was to get people trained and certified in cybersecurity within a 6-month time frame. Taking someone from making minimum wage barely to economic mobility in 6 months. And it was the savior complex. And I cried. I mourned for my career. I got depressed. I said, guys, I'm I'm going to take a hiatus, 2 months to myself to figure out what I want to do, because I couldn't save everybody. I felt like I needed to save everyone. I needed to save my people back in New York. I needed to save the girls from Black Girls Code, 145 students that I chartered for 3 years. No one's doing anything as far as like bringing them into cybersecurity specifically. So I wanted to bridge that gap. I wanted to bridge the gap with Hispanic people that can't speak English, but if they learned cybersecurity in Spanish, they can make all the money in the world. So I was trying to do dual language. I was trying to save the whole fucking world. And I got exhausted and I forgot myself. And I stayed, not in this company too long, but I stayed in the idea that cybersecurity, because it brought me to a point of a financial status that I never thought I would ever see, especially just 2-year college degree. I wanted to give that to everybody else. And I got exhausted. And so I soaked in that. I soaked in maybe that I could save them. I really did. I did. And
You still can. Little at a time.
so check this out. I have another mentor, and he called me years ago. And he taught me, he said, you're really good. You're like skyrocketing. He was like, a monkey could lead a cybersecurity company. I said, what do you mean?
That's racist. Are you calling me a monkey?
Right. He's Filipino too. He was like, so it didn't help. But, and he said, Kim Kardashian can run a cybersecurity company too.
Oh God.
Yeah, he said that. I said, I can't stand anyone that praises her. But I was like, what do you mean? He said, she could send one tweet and say, hey guys, I need help at X and X company. They need some cybersecurity assistance. Who can go ahead and help them? And what he said was, if you have mass influence, you can impact anything. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, fast forward into the future. I said, well, shit, fuck trying to build a cybersecurity company. Let me be Kim K.
Build yourself.
Build it myself.
Build yourself. Building Frankie.
And just take this comedy thing wherever it goes, and build it to the point where I can have a nonprofit and have somebody run a cybersecurity nonprofit.
Exactly.
And because I feel so aligned with my natural talent, so aligned with the vision, everything here organically with this podcast, that it's only feels right. It feels right for me. But I really did stay in that situation too long, when I wasted probably, I wasted 7 months on that.
And it's the judgment too, because it's like, I remember when me and you both, we were going to dinner, and she's like, I got something to tell you. And I was like, I got something to tell you too. And so I said, you go first. And so she's like, okay, remember my company? I was like, yeah, what's up with that? Because, Frankie was about to put me on. She was about to come get me out of teaching. She was supposed to save me too. I was ready to work for Frankie.
I
was ready to work.
What is your number? What is your number?
What's your number?
Like, bitch, what's my number?
What you my number? 972?
No.
But I was like, what do you
about
mean?
About some same digits, but
my digits. And then I was like, well, I make currently now. She was like, that's it? I said, well, how much you wanna give me? But we were in the car, and she was like, I'm gonna be in comedy. And I just started laughing.
She was like, yes.
Bust out
She's
laughing.
like, yes, I knew I picked the right thing.
No, and I said, well, I'm glad you're funny. Because, be someone like, bitch, you dry as fuck. How you gonna be in comedy?
Can you imagine she trying to be a rapper? They out here.
I would have to be like, friend, that's not it. Don't get your J job.
And I appreciate that. You would tell me.
I would have like, that ain't it. So I was like, I could, okay. And I said, well, I see you more of as a writer, as in the green room and planning. And she was like, that's the ultimate goal. I said, okay, well, let's do it. And she was like, your turn. And I was like, I'm gonna be a doula. And she was like, a what? I was like, a doula. I'm gonna help women deliver their babies, even though I ain't had no babies. Yeah? she was like, we're doing it. So that was November. We were in the car because it was my birthday, and we were going to some vegan spot in Grand Prairie. And what are you doing? Like, what was it? Because I'm about to mess up your title with Live Nation. Like,
oh,
The
Like,
BIPOC show.
BIPOC show. Like,
Yeah,
you,
the
what?
BIPOC show.
You doing it. So, like I said, what was that, episode 2? When you're on your alignment, it just flows down.
It just
So,
really flows.
You know, sometimes your happiness is at the end of your comfort zone. So, you know.
Yeah, I think that helps us bring this nicely wrapped up into a bow. I think the common thread here has been we as Black and brown women are always too strong. And that's why we sit there and we soak in these things, because we don't feel like we deserve anything outside of that. So if you are listening and you are soaking in something that you need to get out of, sis, you got the resources, you got the things, you know, all the things to get out of that. So yes, join in with us next week for our next episode. We love that you are here. Again, if you want to reach any of us, it is info@kinkdaf.com. That's info@kinkdaf.com. And I am Khira Haley. You can find me at Khira Haley, KhiraHailey on Instagram.
I'm Alex Barrios, and you can find me on Instagram at Alex Barrios Comedy, and Barrios is spelled Berrios.
And I'm Krystle, and you can reach me on Instagram at KAYT06KT06.
I'm Mika. You can find me at Instagram at BRONXTRESS, Bronxtress.
And I'm Frankie Benz. You can find me at Instagram at Frankie with an IE does comedy.
And you can find our Kink'D AF Instagram at like that, Kink'D AF, KINKD AF. All right, we're Kink'D as fuck.